Yo, what's going on? It is Thursday night, and that means it is time for collecting Uncensored. And tonight's guest is a very special guest. I don't know that I ever thought I'd be able to interview anybody from this part of the world just because of the major time difference that there is. And so I'm super, super excited to have him on here. First of all, like there's that time difference. And then on top of that, like I absolutely love his channel. He's got like Bronze Age comic books, stuff that I kind of like, the characters that I like from that age. And even though his name is from a character that I dislike completely, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. And then on top of that, he's got some of these awesome statues as well. And if you're following along, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, and I'm going to go ahead and bring him out and not waste any time. And that is none other than one of our favorite Aussies, MadSpidey.
I was getting ready to do this, and then you played that bloody clip, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that? I forgot all about that. I'm always watching this show on the replay, obviously, because it's generally when I'm working, not when I'm on holidays like I am now. And I'm just
Yeah.
I always forget about that bit. I always forget about that bit.
That's your parting gift. So
I'm sick of my head just being cropped as my head. Like I know, yeah, Whack Comics has done it. Lee, Simple Simon's done it. It's generally when they forget, they always forget me. That's the ongoing joke. Like if we do a big Aussie thing, I'm always the forgotten one, and then he'll like crop my head and just chuck me in a little corner or something.
I didn't forget you.
No, you didn't. No comment. No comment.
Just the link. Just the link. Just the important part.
I'll just sit in 3 hours waiting for him. And, oh, yeah.
3 hours? Get the fuck out of here.
I said 3.
Oh, man. This is going to be fun. I already know this is going to be fantastic. What's going on, man?
Oh, just, as I said, just on holidays, just chilling. Have to go back to work on Monday, which sucks balls. But,
right.
At the end of the day, I got absolutely nothing that I wanted to get done this holidays. I made a list. 10 things at least. It was 8 to 10 things, and I think I got one thing done out of all of them.
But do you feel relaxed, though? Do you feel rested?
No, I'm getting into that frame of mind now where it's like, I need to start getting into the swing of things about going back to work and stuff. So I'm at that point where I'm just like, okay, I sort of got sleep. I sort of didn't. I was on a lot of live streams. I did quite a bit of content as well, which, like the last couple of weeks before I went on leave, work was just nuts, stressful. It's always that time of year. So I didn't do any content for like 2 weeks, except for obviously Spidey's Outback. So I was like, I need to smash out some videos and things like that, that was the one thing I accomplished. Nothing else I accomplished.
I feel like you got like some I watched 2 today actually, statue reviews that came out, and I feel like you've knocked out several statue reviews, it seems like, while you've been off.
I realized I hadn't done a few, so I literally, because I'm at the girlfriend's place now, like I've been here pretty much the whole 3 weeks.
Okay.
So I went home and I'm like, okay, pre-record a couple of video, a couple of statue, a couple of art. I got a pop vinyl one done, and obviously, I had a couple of random live streams. One went for like 8.5 hours or some ridiculous amount that it's usually reserved for Spidey's Outback, but I was bored, and so I got some shit done. Put it that way.
Nice. Cool.
So there's still one to come out. I'll release one today, but there's still one more to come out. So I might leave that till Monday, maybe, or something like that when I'm back at work.
Yeah. Cool. Let's say hello to the chat. We've got TM Nerdy in the house. Says, let's go. Is that the Canadian version of let's go? Let's go. What's going on, TM? Appreciate you coming out. He's got an awesome question actually right here that I want to come back to. Like, I think this is a fantastic question. I'm super excited to ask this one. But let's keep rolling with the other people. Phil's Treehouse. I asked my mom if I could watch, and she said no, but I am anyway.
Sorry, Phil. I forgot the titty books for you. Sorry.
I told her TM said it was okay. That's hilarious. There's my honey. Hey, honey, love you bunches. Let's see. Dope Comics in the house. Another one of my favorites right there. What's going on, man? He says, hey, guys. Phil is in the house. One of the winners of last week's 1K giveaway. So he won the monthly giveaway. So that's fantastic. Appreciate you, Phil, coming hanging out. Christina Payne in the house. Everybody's favorite mod in the chat. Appreciate you. Dylan Suspense, my iron brethren right here. Let's get 100 people in the chat. Hashtag 100. Yes. 100. There we go. MadSpidey's link right there in the chat. Appreciate you doing that, Dale. Thank you so much. You're actually approaching 800 subscribers, man. That's pretty freaking awesome. You're like 27 away?
Something in that vicinity, yeah.
Yes. Fantastic. That's awesome. Let's see if we can get him there. That'd be awesome. Remy Q in the house. We were actually talking about him backstage and his love for the female books. So
it's art. It's art. Love you, Remy.
Oh, that's great.
Remy's my brother.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Let's see. Christina says, remember to hit a thank you. Appreciate that very much. Still only 35 cents. One of your neighbors right there in the house says, hey, Spidey, what's going on, man?
Honorary Australian, as the running joke goes. No, we love it. He's an Aussie. We love him. Dave is one of my favourite people that I've met in the last 12 months. So
awesome.
Glad to know Dave now.
Cool. Richard is in the house. 9 watching, 4 likes. Appreciate you, Richard. Says hit that like button. Thank you. Appreciate that. Keep rolling. Cliff on Comics in the house. Hit the like. Everybody talking about hit the like button. Dad burn, Matthew. Appreciate it. Simon does statue reviews. He does. A few.
Check out. Was it last year? I think it was last year. It was either last year or the year before. Remy actually did like a promo video for the CBC Awards for me winning the statue thing. It is absolutely hilarious. I love it.
Is it on his channel?
His back catalog, and you should be able to find it.
Oh, I'm going. I'm fine. I've got to see that. That's fantastic. Let's see. A lot of people saying hey to each other. It's art.
That's exactly right. I got art books.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh no, don't. No.
She prepared me for this the other night.
Who's Keith Urban?
What's the deal with Keith Urban?
I'm not a country music person, so.
Oh, neither am I.
Yeah, so yeah, no.
Okay.
She probably just likes him because he's cute or hot or something like that. That's probably a hall pass or something, I'm assuming.
That's funny. Let's see. Berdazzle is in the house. Appreciate you coming out, Berdazzle. You're dead to me.
All right. I'm out of here.
I've had enough of this ridicule. That's fantastic.
Oh, God.
Oh, funny stuff. All right. Cool. We've rolled through the chats. We've had some good laughter. At least I've laughed a good bit, which I normally
I've already got a little bit of tearing going on.
Yes.
Over here, so
that's a goal.
All right. My guitar is Keith Urban, Mrs. Two. I get it. Okay. What you doing?
I've not heard anything about her thinking he's cute or anything like that, but maybe it's a secret. I don't know.
I hear the thing that some or a lot of Americans like Australian accents, but I don't know what it is, whether it is true or not. I've heard a lot of people say it, especially from the female persuasion, but
Australian and British, those seem to be the two. There we go. Not cute. Awesome guitarist.
Okay. I believe you. No, he is a good guitarist. Yes, that is correct.
All right. TM's coming up with more questions. All right, let's get this rolling because TM's hit me up.
TM's just...
Right, and he's got good ones too.
I suppose New Zealanders and Canadians sort of sound alike. They're both the butt joke of the two bigger countries. So It works.
Oh, that's funny. All right, Simon.
Far away.
This is Collecting Uncensored. And what we want to do here is we want to dive deep into your boxes, all right? I know that sounds dirty, but I don't mean it that way, right? Yeah.
I have Spider-Man boxes on, so surprisingly enough.
But we need to know what kind of collector are you? Like, are you, a lot of people are keys collectors, run collectors, cover lovers. You know, there's all different kinds of collectors. You can be more than one, obviously. What do you see
Most
yourself
people are.
as? Right? Right?
See, yes, I get pigeonholed as like the Marvel guy. You know, I don't. All my books are all Marvel. Like, I don't have, besides like, you know, a few guys that are like the Illuminati boys, or like I think Southern Comic Geek and things like that. Like, I've done like their own exclusive, like the YouTube community guys. They're the only non-Marvel books that I have, because obviously it's supporting the community and stuff like that. But shut up, Cliff. I will get to that. I will get to that. I'm a Marvel guy, so my whole collection's Marvel. I would say, even though I'm primarily an old school guy, so I collect Silver Age, Bronze Age, to a certain extent, Copper Age.
Okay.
But I am also a run collector. Like, I love collecting runs. But when looking at old books, I still find I'm still a cover buyer, even with old books. Like, obviously, most people refer to cover lovers or cover buyers as more modern collectors.
Mm-hmm.
But I will literally be searching, and sometimes I'll be like, oh, I've got a spare. I'm at a con, I've got a spare $20 or whatever. I'll be flicking through the things. I'll be like, I really love that cover. Might not be necessarily a run that I normally collect.
Yeah.
I do like the character. And I think that's how some of my runs have actually evolved. So, like, prime example, Submariner. Not everybody's favorite character. A lot of people, you know, won't collect him or don't like him, or just he's one of those whatever characters. Even though he is like one of the pioneers, he's a golden age character,
right?
But in saying that, like, I'll pick up, you know, like, prime example, right?
Ooh,
got a
nice.
book right here. Hang on, try not to get the glare. So, book like this, I'll be like skimming through, you know, the boxes, trying to look for some old school goodness, and I'll just see that and go, I really love that cover. I'm a low grade collector, so, you know, the quality doesn't, you know, I'm not fussed about that, but I do love, as long as the book is complete, that is my only thing that I want.
Okay.
So it could be torn to crap, but I will still, you know, if it's a reasonable price over here, I will buy it. So something like that would have been bought as a cover buy. So you still can cover buy in the old school ways as well. You don't have to be a modern collector to be a cover buyer. But then you find that you know, you're loading this stuff into CLZ and things like that, and you're like, shit, I've actually accumulated half of the Submariner run from the Silver/Bronze Age. So it just happens. It literally just happens. And I'm just like, from so many random buys, like, obviously I've got goals, I've got lists, I've got things I want to complete or get and things like that. But a lot of this happens. And that is a pure example of that, where I literally was uploading my CLZ the other day, and I'm like, I think the run is like 70 books, 80 books, and I have like 50 of them. So I'm like, why not just complete the run?
Right.
You know? So, and that gives you a self of accomplishment as well. So, yeah, so cover lover in that aspect. Obviously, run collector, as I said. Key collector, yes. It is a lot harder to key collect over here because of, obviously, price difference and the scarcity of a lot of these books. It's not like, and I've said it a million times, it's not like going into the States, and I'm not saying this is everywhere, but I'm saying in most major cities, you could probably go into the city and find 30 comic book shops, like, within reason, obviously, but some you probably could. That's not a thing over here at all.
Yeah.
At all.
How many comic shops do you have near you?
Realistically, within a reasonable driving distance, I would say one.
Okay. So we're talking like 30 minutes to an hour drive or one way, or what are we talking?
If I'm probably 15 minutes, 20-minute drive.
Okay.
Yeah, one way to get there
Yeah.
at most. But yeah, all the rest are either in the heart of the city or they're like on the other side of the suburbs, or they're like way out further. Because I'm in the eastern suburbs.
Okay.
They're either in the western, northern suburbs, or they're in the city, or they're like far out east sort of thing. So there's nothing. I can't really sort of proverbial throw a rock and hit 5 comic shops sort of thing. It's everything's
Yeah.
distance. So,
Got you. I got you. Okay. Cool.
so yeah,
That
I can cover pretty much all those aspects that you mentioned, one way, shape, or form. Even collecting older books, you can still do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. 100% agree. That Namor that was a nice looking copy, by the way.
Mm. It's not bad. Like as I said, like I'm a low grade collector all day. You're looking. There's a few spine ticks and stuff like that, which even if it was riddled with it, or was half hanging off, and a dog had chewed a corner out or whatever like that. if I get it for a half decent price, then and that's what I have to work with over here. Buying over here is all about opportunistic buying.
Okay.
Opportunistic buying is basically like it still works anywhere in the world, but over here it's primarily like that. With me, especially, I'm on a limited budget. I want big books, or big books for me.
Yeah.
So buying stuff either has to come down to having the money, being there in person, and just going, that's the price. Okay, I don't give a crap. That's the book I want. I'm just going to buy it now. It may be overpriced, but it's opportunity.
Yeah.
And the other one is obviously eBay doesn't allow you to pay things off to a certain extent. Obviously, there's pay in fours and all that sort of stuff these days.
Yeah.
But so I have been involved in the Facebook Australian comic book groups for probably a good couple of years now. And a lot of the sellers that I've done through then, I've been able to buy like either bulk deals or one book deals and things like that, and they've allowed me to pay them off. So I've been able to get some of those slightly bigger books by just, some of them will say, okay, look, I want you to pay off in 2 months. Some of them I've built such a rapport with that I've been able to pay them over like 6 months or 12 months.
Yeah.
Just chipping away at it every month and all that sort of stuff. So, it's good to build up those sort of connections.
Is it in the same respect like it's difficult to find a book in your area, like a key like that? Is it also difficult for those selling though to find a buyer?
It's a bit like that as well. And I always say that like we're like 10 years behind. It's probably not that. It's probably a couple of years, because you see, I hear about it over there as well, that some guys are more collectors, even though they're trying to be sellers at conventions and even eBay and things like that. They'll put a price up there because they bought it at the peak, say during, the COVID bubble or whatever, the pandemic.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, I paid 10 grand for this book. It may only be worth 2 grand now, but I'm not budging on it. Regardless of what everybody knows it's worth,
Yeah.
I'm not budging because that's what I paid for it. And unfortunately, being a seller, you got to be smarter than that.
Yeah.
But the guys over here, like prime example, what is it? West Coast Avengers 45, the first White Vision.
Yep.
Like that was a hot book for a good minute when the One Division came out, and a little bit after. And then it was like, okay, it's $1 bin, $5 bins, whatever you guys have over there now. Like that book is literally still, most sellers still trying to get $100 for that over here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's still, I was lucky because I wanted a copy just for sake of having a copy.
Yeah.
I ended up finding one for $10, but most people, as I said, who do actually have the book were selling it for like around that price still, even to today. I think last time I went to so when was that? Probably November, I think it was, and I still saw a couple of copies there. People are still trying to get like $60 to $80 for it.
Yeah, I started looking at that book here the other day on eBay, and I think I was finding like fairly high grade copies, and they were wanting like $30 to $35 for it. And so I was like, okay, like it's come down a good bit. So, but I feel like it's at that point now where it's kind of like a little higher than what the middle would actually be. So, But
yes, that's still not like even doing currency conversion off the top of my head. If you're looking at say $30, that's probably 45 to 50 Australian. So that's still sort of in that
yeah,
realm where so the guys here are still asking still way too
right.
much.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, yeah. That's crazy. That is
Mm,
crazy.
mm. But then you get guys like still only 35 cents that give you books for like dirt cheap or just give them to you. Who's an absolute friggin' legend. And he helps other buyers because Dave's a buyer as well as a seller as well as a buyer. So
Mm,
he knows how to, but he will actually sell books at what they should be trending at in the States. So,
okay.
or what the FMVs are. So he's actually doing it the right way of actually
Yeah.
selling, not just I
Gotcha.
bought this in the pandemic and I'm stuck with it sort of pricing.
Right.
So,
Right. No, you're right. You definitely got to like adjust. Like you kind of have to take your L's as much as you want to take W's. You got to take L's too.
and
So
that's why I said it's opportunistic buying over here. Like, yeah, there's more guys that have better connections, know more people, and all that sort of stuff. I know a decent amount of people, but it's still not going to help you buy a big book when you're talking, multiple thousands of dollars and currency conversions and then shipping if you're trying to buy it from overseas. And so, but we deal all right.
do you think connections over there is like a key pivotal thing for collecting in Australia?
It
Like
is.
somebody new came in, would it be difficult for them not having that connection?
I think, like a lot of communities, most of them are very open and very helpful. You just got to know where to look.
Hmm.
Like the one thing that like we always joke about over here is like you hear stories of collectors in the States, whether they be YouTubers, IGs, or just collectors. I went into my next door neighbor's house and had their old grandfather's collection, and there was 10 copies of AF-15 and one copy of this and that. And like, I know it's not as common as everybody thinks it is, but you hear a lot of those stories.
Yeah.
Over here, not so much. It's like collecting hen's teeth. It's not easy to come across those sort of collections.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and
I
they
can see
probably
that.
haven't been over here as long either. So that's the other thing. Because how would you get comics over here in the 60s? You'd literally have to get on a ship and go over to the other countries and freight them all back again. It's not that simple.
Wow. Wow.
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nick's Kicks and Comics in the house. Hey, yo! Checking in on Deuce Deuce and my seventh favorite Aussie.
No more Tim
No
Tams for you,
respect.
Nick. No more Tim Tams.
That's hilarious. Oh, all right. I got to get this TM question before I lose it because I really, really like
it'd be
it.
like right out. Yeah, it was like the third or fourth comment.
Right, right. If you could own any three comics, what would they be and why? Man,
Oh,
I love
shit.
this question. I'm probably going to have to steal it to him.
Yeah, that's
Any three?
I could probably say any three runs, but just three comics would be real. I'm assuming he's talking about just three individual comics.
Yes.
That's what I'm assuming.
I'm insisting on that now.
Yeah, that is a really hard one. That is a.
And do you have any of these? I'm going to throw that in there too.
Oh
Like, if
no,
you-
the three that I would want, I definitely do not own. AF-15 would definitely be number one.
Okay.
Or in no particular order, but yeah, that would always that is the book. That is my
Okay.
ultimate grail book.
Okay.
Probably ASM-1 because I still don't own that either because it's sort of first appearance and start of the journey sort of thing would probably be that would be the two. So the third book would be the hardest one to pick. Oh, see, a lot of people would say Action 1, Tech 27, stuff like that because they'd be like, oh, I could just sell that and buy whatever else I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas me, I'm thinking of because I don't buy to sell. I do not sell anything.
Nothing.
If I'm like when I culled my collection, I had random DC, random Image, random indie books about 10, 15 years ago, whatever like that, and I literally just gave them away.
Oh, wow.
I was just like, I didn't have a lot or nothing really huge. But yeah, so I when I culled my collection. So in saying that, what would be the third book? I may look at doing that, the buy action one, but yeah, no, I never look at it like that. I never sell anything. So, God, what would my third book be? Shit. To be perfectly honest, not my wheelhouse. I'm not a golden age collector at all. I'm not going to dive into that because that is another deep, expensive pot. But I'd probably want Captain America 1.
Oh, that's a cool one.
Like, and not to sell, just
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have it, just to say it's mine, sort of thing. So
yeah.
like I love a lot of other characters. Like I love Punisher, I love Wolverine, I love Silver Surfer, I love Ghost Rider, I love a lot of those sort of characters. But I think just to say I could get any 3 books, then I'd definitely probably a Cap 1, either that or a Marvel Comics 1. But I'd say a Cap 1, cool. a Cap 1 more than anything else.
I like it. I think that's good. Good picks. Let's see. TM had another question. Where are they at? Because it was like TM and then Cliff back to back. TM, who is your favorite artist on Spider-Man? Who's your favorite on... Wait. Favorite writer on Spider-Man? Writer? Someone told me you were a Spider-Man fan.
I'm not showing you my boxer shorts, TM. And I actually, and this came up in another interview show, and I know when you prepped me for this show as well, that was going to be sort of one of the questions as well in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
I've always been an art guy. I've always been focusing on the art. Obviously, not being a reader anymore, which that might be a question we might get to a bit later. But I haven't been a reader for probably close to 2 decades now.
Wow.
I used to be a big reader when I was younger, in my early teens and even in my 20s.
Yeah.
But I literally, because you get in and out, everybody gets in and out of comics. Not everybody stays through all the way through. But I pretty much, I had other passions of like other collecting, obviously the statues, the original art, and I've been through a lot of other bits and pieces, which I've started, stopped, gotten rid of altogether, and so on and so forth. So as I said, it all comes down to the art for me. Like I've always loved, looking at the covers, looking at the internals, more of a visual media for me than like a mental one, like the reading side of it. So
yeah,
it's very hard. Like obviously, if I just had to say, if somebody said, look, just name one writer, everybody knows it's going to be Stan Lee at the end of the day, because he's done so much for Marvel, obviously, and just the industry in general. He's always going to be up there. But I do have sort of other writers that, I do have respect for. People like Chris Claremont and stuff like that, they, do ginormous runs of one book consistently, over time and things like that. So, but writers, like, to be perfectly honest, like a lot of people talk about writers and I'm just like, I've never heard of that person or I've never heard it. And like, how can you not have heard about this person? I'm like, dude, I haven't read for like, how long?
Yeah.
I'm not, I feel like if you're going to read something, you're going to see who wrote it. You're going to take notice of who wrote it. Same with the art side of things. Oh, that's an awesome cover. Who did the cover? That's your first question. Same thing. But artist-wise, like me being an old school guy too, like a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you're either a Ditko guy or you're a Romita guy or something like that. Like I love Ditko. I love Romita Senior. Not so much Junior lately, but that's another question altogether. I know I'm going to get hate in the comments for that in a minute from a certain person. But yeah, I sort of narrow it down a bit more because I know one of the questions you were going to ask is like, say, name 5 artists or writers or whatever like that. And I sort of break it down because I've gone through so many changes with collecting habits, even though I'm still silver and bronze and copper. Like Silver Age, you start looking at the King, Kirby, Ditko, Romita Senior, people like that, and then you go into Bronze Age. Like I started getting into the horror books. So like prime example.
Oh, nice.
Tomb of Dracula. So you start talking then about people like Bernie Wrightson or Barry Windsor Smith, Gene Cole, and people like that, that are sort of a bit more well known for their like horror style, or they did a lot of horror books in the Bronze Age, and then going from that, going into sort of the 80s, Copper Age / modern age. I fell in love with Bagley. Like a lot of people don't like Bagley's Spider-Man, but I started my Amazing run, when Bagley was on it. So that's why I have that sort of connection to him.
Yeah.
When he started doing Ultimate Spider-Man, when that first started or whatever like that, he did that really wispy, thin, weird sort of Spider-Man. I'm just like, that's why I never collected Ultimate Spider-Man at all. I preferred his Amazing run because he did a good solid Spider-Man for my career, or my journey, should I say.
Yeah.
So
No, I get that.
Yeah. And then obviously there's a lot of modern masters as well. A lot of guys are still around. Obviously there's been a lot that have passed over the years, but you start talking like a lot of the European, a lot of the the Asian artists, things like that. Like I love Philip Tan, I love Del Otto, Simone Bianchi, people like that are just masters in their game. They're not digital guys. Like obviously some of them still work in digital, but they're still traditional guys.
Right.
And I'm all about physical media. Like I still have 3,000-4,000 DVDs and Blu-rays at my house. So I'm a physical media guy. I got to have it. None of this NFT or digital or whatever. It's handy for some people, but not for me.
So you don't read digital at all? It's all like, do you prefer floppies or trades or omnibus?
I'm all about the floppies.
Okay, got you. Another, like, I totally get you on the like being an art guy over reading, because I felt I like nobody did it to me, but I felt a lot of shame because like people would talk about writers and stuff like that, or hey, what's your favorite story of this or that, and I'm like, I don't have it. I just really like this character just because of the aesthetics of it, or what they stand for, or whatever the case was. But like, I don't have a favorite story because I don't like to read. Like it's taken me however long to like actually get going with reading. So I feel like I get you on that aspect of it, but I do wonder what's your reasoning then for collecting like all of Amazing Spider-Man is your goal, is it not? Like your end goal? So
From
what's your
number
reasoning
one
on
to today? So all volumes, all annuals, all stupid point ones and all that sort of thing. Yeah, the whole entire run.
So what's your reasoning?
Spider-Man obviously is my guy. We all know that. Doesn't take a genius to work that out, but that was a goal that I developed early. I had amassed so many Spider-Man books, and especially Amazing, that I thought that it'd be nice to go for the whole entire run. Because obviously a lot of people say, look, they only go 1 to 50, 1 to 100, or just volume 1 or whichever. Which is a big task unto itself, even collecting volume 1.
Yeah. Especially those first like 10 books.
Realistically, like first 100 books in like low grade, non-slabbed is still going to cost you an absolute arm and a leg, literally.
Well, and especially for you where you're at. Yeah.
So, but that was the thing, like, not diving too much into the origin story of MadSpidey, but in a certain way, it all started with the old man taping cartoons on the old VHS, and coming home from school, whether it be preschool or elementary school or whatever it happens to be, and just sitting there and just watching cartoons. And Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends was one of them.
Yes,
along with a lot of other stuff, but that sort of stuck with me. A lot. So that's where it sort of spurned from, and then I've just moved into. Obviously, I didn't start actually collecting comics until my probably early to mid-teens. I didn't actually have any at all when I was 10 or under sort of thing. And it was pretty much all I had to do was I had to buy them all. I never got any bought for me. Everything I bought, all the comics that I own, pretty much I've had to buy myself. even since I was teen. So getting, a little paper around, getting your $5, $10 a week sort of thing, and going and buying like one comic a week and things like that. So,
So
but yeah.
so what pushed you then to like buy comic books, since that like it wasn't one that was given to you?
Back then I was a reader.
Okay.
So, I probably read up until maybe like my late 20s. So yeah, it's probably been a good, 15 to 20 years or so that I haven't been a reader. So, and as I said, getting in and out of it, it was more. And when the Amazing Spider-Man run for me, it started getting to like what I call like the sticky end, like the expensive end. And obviously, talking 10, 15 years ago, it was even harder to find the books than they are now. I started diving into other Spidey titles. So I'm like, oh, I'll collect Spectacular and I'll collect Web and all that sort of stuff. And then I was buying odds and ends of my other favorite characters. Like I have a decent, I had nearly the whole run of the first volume of Wolverine. Same with Punishers. Same with, a few other characters and things like that. So I sort of dabbled in a few others, but I didn't really go nuts into the whole Marvel universe until probably about 10 years ago, roughly.
Got you. Okay. Cool. Well, let's start looking at some books. I assume you got more than just the 2 books. You sent me a picture. So
maybe. Yeah, I got a couple more, but yeah. So I sort of looked at it and I based the books more on what I either picked up or I'm actively seeking in the last sort of 12 to 24 months. So prime example, and a big shout out to my boy Sean. It's Zars Collectibles and Comics, another Aussie YouTuber. Either one of the mods, they should know who he is. Drop his link because he's still struggling to get some subs at the moment. He actually helped me with my Defenders run.
Oh, nice.
So he kindly gave me Defenders #1. It's a bit rough, but as I said, at the end of the day, I'm a low grade collector anyway, so who cares as long as I have the book. But yeah, Defenders run, I've been trying to just, I'd say, passively collect in the last probably 2 years. So I have it's 160, 170 book run. So it's not a small run by any means, but it's not a huge run either. But I have probably about 60% of it. So I still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But I did, early numbers, and the first 3 Marvel features are the hardest ones for me to get. So Sean was able to find one. He actually went over to the States about 3 or 4 months ago, and he actually stumbled across a nice cheap copy and said, "Here you go." So I was like, "Thank you very much."
Nice.
So
are you looking to get the first appearance of the Defenders as well?
The 3 Marvel feature books. Yeah,
okay.
I'm including that. It's not part of the run, obviously, but it is essential for that. And being a key collector too, I need those first 3 books, and I see an odd #1 every now and again, but super expensive over here. 2 and 3, not as much. But like everything else, we'll get there one day, sort of thing. Or collectibles to astonish. Yeah, odd. So something like that. So that's one of the runs that I'd like, but that's more of a passive sort of one at the moment. Like, I think once I achieve the 2 or 3 runs, small runs, which I'll get into in a second, I think once I complete those, I'll go a bit harder on the Defenders run. So
what's the appeal with the Defenders? Because there's no Spidey in there.
There's no Spidey in there, but it's me. I don't know what it was like. I think it was a bit like, I like team books, or like I do like the the team up books, like not the Marvel team up. I probably should explain that a little bit easier. I like the Silver Age duel books is probably the easy way. So like your Tales to Astonish, Tales to Suspense, Journey to Mystery, like Strange Tales, like those sort of ones. I do love collecting those books, even though they're super hard to find over here. I think that's what sort of spurned some of the Bronze Age collecting. So Defenders, Invaders was another one.
Nice.
This was the last book I needed for that run. And I was actually able to find that. So only a small,
Fantastic.
like 40, 41, 42 book run. But this is me getting close to Golden Age without buying Golden Age. Pretty much.
With the Human Torch, Captain America, Namor. I got you.
Kicking crapper out of Nazis and all that sort of stuff, sort of thing. And, so that was the last book I needed. So, yeah, as I said, but that's including like the king size and the giant size and that sort of stuff. So that was the sort of run that, like, I even picked up a little bit of that bug from my boy Rob Fatstacks, because he was trying to complete an Invaders run as well. And I just thought it was just so cool, old school looking art, like very reminiscent of the Golden Age, as I said, without collecting Golden Age itself. So,
yeah.
And sometimes, like as I said, sometimes it's just literally just random, pick up a cool cover here and there. And then I'm like, no, I'm going for the run. Let's just do it. Let's just dig that hole a little bit deeper. Never get out of the bottom. I'm already about 300 feet under. So,
Especially when you don't sell anything. Like, I know you said you give stuff away, but do you ever trade at all either? Like, or is it just straight up you just give away?
It's pretty much, well, I only gave away all the non-Marvel books. But as I said, there was nothing huge in there. It was just random issues. It was literally, it was just random DC. I had a pile of like random issues to Spawn, and I know Simple Simon said he always wanted a number 1. And he had a pretty crappy copy of number 9, which is First Angela. And he always wanted a better copy of that. And I said, dude, here, look, just have mine. I had like, I don't know, 20 books or 30 books or something like that. But there was a number 1 and number 9 in there. I said, mate, you can just have it.
Nice.
He's, like I've known Simon for a long, long time, like way outside of YouTube.
Yeah.
And so I just said to him, I go, mate, you've, helped me, peer pressured me into starting a YouTube channel. I'm having fun here. Have some books. Have some books. So, but all the rest of the stuff was nothing to sort of. It's what you guys would call dollar bin stuff. It wasn't anything great. So I'm just like, you like DC, you can have this, or you like that, you can have this sort of thing. So I literally just gave away. If people, use them for whack hacks or use them as toilet paper or whatever, that's up to them. But
right,
but yeah, it was. I just wanted to try and not have so much. Like, obviously, I have a lot of randomness in the Marvel stuff, but I've still sort of streamlined it to keep it to one company at least.
Right.
Right.
That's funny. What? So you said something earlier about as long as a book is complete. Do you consider the book to be complete if it doesn't have a Marvel value stamp?
I knew somebody was going to come across that at some point. That I'm unfazed about, honestly. If I can get a book that, so prime example, Hulk 181. I do not own that book. I would love to own that book. Thanks, TM. I would love to own that book. That's a super expensive book. Doesn't matter where in the world you are. It's a bloody expensive book. But I would love to own one day. If somebody said to me, look, I can sell you like a 6.0 with no value stamp cheaper than I can sell you a 3.0 with a Marvel value stamp, I'd probably go the one without. As long as it doesn't affect the story, because maybe one day, and that's why I'm always future-proofing myself where I say I'm not a reader. I haven't read for long, blah, blah, blah. What if I do want to go back to it? What if I do open up a book and the Marvel value stamp's missing and it affects the story? I know 9 times out of 10, it didn't affect the story. It was always on ad pages. But what if there's that one book in the run, I get to that point, I might have read 100 books, get to that point, and it's like, fuck, I don't even know what happens on that page now because I'm fucking missing. What does she say? God damn it.
I can't go on. There's no way to know.
That's it. I'm done. I'm done. So, like, I know, as I said, like, it's a 1 in a million thing, but I always like to future-proof myself as much as possible, regardless of what people think, what I think at the time, or whatever like that. I always try and say, yeah, like, what if?
Yeah.
It's always that question. So, like, I always try and do that. But yeah, I'm if I get it, okay. Prime example. Hang on, I'll pull out something that's slightly bigger. Speaking of that book, we'll go to the other one.
Yes.
This actually has the Marvel value stamp in it. So I actually bought this, and once again, big shout out to Still Only 35 Cents, Dave. He was there when I was actually looking at buying this. And the guy said, I said, look, can you, because I'm not good at looking up prices. I don't know how to do all that shit. I'm not the best computer guy. So Dave's like, look, I'll check a couple of sources. The guy wanted, I think it was like $700 or something like that, Australian.
Oh, nice.
So it's probably I don't know. I'm not a slab guy. I'm not a professional grader guy. He reckons it'd probably be maybe a 4 or maybe a 5, somewhere in that vicinity anyway.
Okay.
And the guy goes, and it does have the Marvel value stamp. But I said, look, at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit about Marvel value stamp as long as it's complete and as long as the story's not hindered in any way. So Dave looks at the price and he goes, at $700, that is, like with the currency conversion and all that, all that sort of stuff, it is probably right on fair market value for what you're buying. So, which is quite a shock to find that kind of thing over here. So I said to the guy, I said, look, I've got physical cash. I literally showed him my wallet, and I said, what's the best you can do if I pay you cash right now? And he knocked $100 off it and gave it to me for $600. So I went, thank you very much. I'll take that right now. So and that's also the acquisition of that is also on Dave's con video for that particular little con that we went to, a little fair. So he actually got the reaction and everything like that. So yeah, that was a good, fun little experience. But yeah, it's at the end of the day with all my ramblings and my wafflings. Everybody knows I like to waffle. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me if it's in there or not. If it gives me the book that I want at a cheaper price, hell yeah, I'm all for it.
Holy crap!
The book deserved it.
I was wondering whether you were going to have any clips.
Yeah, the book deserved it. I just don't have a good way. I don't want to interrupt people, so I have to find a new clip. I like that clip, but I have to find a new one.
I usually just play the Chris Tucker and Ice Cube sitting on the porch on Friday going, damn!
That's a good one. I like it. That's funny.
I still have a few more books here just in case you have any more questions that I can just randomly insert stuff into.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Let's go back because I've started some questions because we had several people.
Oh yeah, there's eight questions.
Oh yeah. There's yeah. Cliff on Comics. Who is your favorite DC character? What is your favorite writer on a DC title? I asked the harder questions.
That's a TM question, Cliff. You should know me better than that. TM's the one that's always, what DC reading, Spidey? Hey, I don't know. How about Batman? No, I can't do Canadian accents. That was fucking horrible. I'm not going to answer writer, obviously. Although I could say Tom Taylor, being a fellow Aussie. I know a lot of Americans don't like Tom Taylor, but I'll say I support Tom Taylor because he's an Australian and he's a super nice guy. And most of the time,
didn't he do a Nightwing run?
He did. I think he did Nightwing. He did. I think Injustice. He did Batman stuff. He's probably done more DC than he has done anything else.
Yeah, I think a lot of people liked his Nightwing run. So,
yeah, well, the DC purists will be able to. I don't TM would be able to tell me, but probably Cliff too. The favorite DC character, I always tend to, besides Spidey, I tend to focus a lot on darker characters. Like as I mentioned, like earlier, favorite characters being like Punisher and Wolverine and Ghost Rider, like anti-hero style sort of characters. So I always thought if I ever went to DC, if I went to the dark side and went to DC, I would collect Batman. But then you look at the thing and I'm like, if I collect Batman, even if I don't collect Detective, but I collect Batman, that's still a big fucking run. Like, and that's an expensive, like even worse than Spidey. So I'm like, and maybe I'm a completionist, even though I never complete anything. So I thought, no, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. So, but
That's
yeah,
not true. You completed Invaders.
Yeah, to be Batman. Nice. Yeah, I did complete Invaders, like a 40-book run. You know, it was a whole accomplishment. It was. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. So,
Phil's Treehouse.
Yeah. Okay. What's Phil got to say?
Favorite out of continuity Spidey story.
So that's probably I'm probably not going to be able to answer this question because most of that sort of stuff happened after I stopped reading.
Yeah.
Because
I
never like a lot of the like Elseworld stuff and canon stuff and like things from multiple universes and stuff happened more in the last 2 decades.
Yeah,
I haven't been reading as much, so that's probably a very hard question to answer. I think. Probably the only
Here's the question. Here's the question I thought I was clicking on that I'm curious about, and it's pineapple on pizza. Yes or no?
After there's nobody in the chat. I don't think that was there last night. I mentioned earlier Zaz's channel. He's trying to get back into doing like a regular live stream on our Thursday nights. And what's up, Chop? And they got in the discussion of food, and I am a very picky and fussy eater. So I will leave that question purely as that. Yeah, Christina was there. Yes, Christina was there. We'll leave it at that. Like pineapple on pizza over here is a big thing. Like Hawaiian, every single pizza store has a Hawaiian pizza that has pineapple on it. So it is a big thing over here. But yeah, if you like it on pizza, go for your life. If you don't like it on pizza, that's fine too.
I was gonna say, but apparently it's not a big thing for you.
No,
that's funny.
I'm not,
my friend Richard, he calls me a monster because I actually like it. So,
as the old saying goes, each to their own.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I will leave it at that.
Are you making it to Heroes Con? Can you bring Dale some Tim Tams?
I've got your address, Dale. I can just send. I've already sent you Tim Tams. What are you talking about?
He even acknowledged that did you send him some with a book?
Exactly. Obviously, a pack of Tim Tams is like 11 in a packet or 12 in a packet or something like that. It's not going to last like a year and a half or 2 years, however long I sent him. So he probably needs more. But that is the goal. I have had, and the biggest advocate to get me over there to Heroes Con is Mark from Legion of Comics. He has been proverbially busting my balls for 3 years to get me over there. If you don't know, I've been asked this question. I've been badgered. I've been bugged. I've been harassed.
You're loved. That's all this is. You're loved.
Yeah. All I can say is I want to get there. I will, fingers crossed. One day we'll get there. It is just a lot of money. And it's a very, very hard time of year work-wise. It's basically a no-go zone for taking time off. So you can read into that what you will, but I would love to go. Yes.
Yeah. Got you. Let's see what Phil's got here. He says, first thing you would do with a web shooter if nobody was watching.
I'd probably web shoot like ladies' clothes off or something, like sort of connect and pull it and sorry. No, I'm not that much of a pervert. I'm not that much of a pervert.
That's funny.
I don't know. I'd probably like if it was a proper like legit web shooter, like actually you could hang off it and stuff like that. I'd probably do something dumb and probably try and like hit a light pole or a lamp post or something and probably try and swing, and I'm probably end up breaking my neck or something like most idiots would do if they got something like that. Other than that, I'd probably just buy the one with the silly string thing in it that you buy.
Yes.
I never got one of those, unfortunately, but I thought I'll end up making a mess, and I'm like, no, I don't want to clean it up. So, yeah. But yeah, no, it'd be cool to have an actual life, life size, legitimate one, should we say? That would be pretty cool.
I'm kind of scared to ask this question. It's from Nick's Kicks and Comics.
Oh no.
What are you going to sell some stuff you never look at and come to a real comic collecting country?
Fuck you, Nicky Pancakes.
Christina Payne says, Spidey, who is your favorite Spider-Man villain? And if you were Spider-Man, what famous lady would play your Mary Jane?
Oh, God. Villain's a hard one because there's I always say Spider-Man and Batman have probably got the best rogues gallery.
Yeah.
A lot of people will back me up on that. I try and stick away from don't get me wrong, I love obviously the main core A-list villains are the Sinister Six villains and things like that. I tend to dive down a little bit deeper into sort of the B and C listers. I like people Carry On and Cardiac and Vermin and guys that sort of don't get as much love as what like your Doc Ock and your Green Goblins and Cravens. I do have a great affinity for Craven as well. He is probably one of my more favorite. And no, I haven't seen the movie. If anybody's going to ask that next, I will see it eventually. But yeah, probably out of the Sinister Six, probably Craven is probably one of my more favorite ones. I know he was created originally as a goofy character, but then became obviously one of Spidey's greatest rivals, along with Green Goblin and Doc Ock and things like that as well. So
yeah.
So I like some of the deeper dives into the villains. And which famous lady would play my MJ? It'd be hard whether it's if you go actual redhead, legitimate redhead, or whether just somebody that would dye their hair as a redhead sort of thing. But
have you liked any of the live action MJs that have come across the screen?
Kirsten Dunst annoyed the shit out of me. I actually liked wasn't MJ, but I liked the name escapes me now.
Emma Watson.
No, isn't that Hermione? Is it?
Maybe it is.
Or is it Amy Adams? No.
Nah.
What's that bloody name? I forgot her bloody name.
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, thank you. That's the one. I did actually like her as MJ. I thought, as Gwen. I thought she played a really good Gwen.
Yeah.
What was the chick's name? Second movie, third movie, is it Bryce something? Bryce Dallas Howard. She played Gwen Stacy in the third movie. I think she would play a good MJ. I know she played Gwen, but I think she'd play a good MJ. I know everybody's on the Sydney Sweeney thing at the moment. She's got some boobs and she's got blonde hair and all that sort of stuff, But I think she's more of a rom-com sort of actress. I'm just trying to think. I'd say if it was back in the early days, she can't act for shit, but a hot redhead would be Angie Everhart. I don't know. Yeah, there's probably somebody that maybe even more a less unknown one that they might try and find if they ever go. I don't like this almost Elseworld sort of stuff with the Tom Holland sort of thing, but
I was going to ask you, how do you feel about Zendaya portraying like a somewhat of an MJ? Like, her
Yeah,
friends call her MJ. Like, it's not.
it's very hard to answer that question without sounding like you're a racist. Like, to be perfectly honest, like to be perfectly honest, it's you have a depiction in your mind,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's like the Silver Surfer thing. Like, oh, okay, we're gonna get Silver Surfer, but she's gonna be a chick. And I'm like,
yeah.
it's Norin Rad is Silver Surfer. It's not,
Right.
it's not Frankie Ray Nova. If it was going to be Frankie Ray Nova, they'd say Frankie Ray Nova. They're not going to say it yet. So you can.
Yeah.
I'm an old school guy.
Yeah.
So if it's not, and I know I have learned, I've been very judgmental with being a traditionalist, especially ever since the Tobey Maguire shit. His web coming out of his freaking wrist instead of a web shooter.
Organic, yeah.
Yeah. I've always been, but I've tried to go in with a more open mind because I know it's what I've coined the phrase Hollywoodization.
Okay.
It's trying to, appeal to the general public.
Yeah. Trying to sell a product.
Exactly. You can't just appeal to the nerds because that's, probably not even half your viewership. So,
yeah.
So yeah, it's very hard not to. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's like a lot of people talking about Pedro Pascal now playing Reed Richards, and I'm like, if he is going to be playing Reed Richards and he does a great job, that's fine. It doesn't worry me. But if he's going to be playing Reed Richards with a Spanish accent, is that a problem?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by you don't want to sound racist answering those sort of questions, sort of things. So,
right.
It's a little bit difficult. But like as I said, I'm a purist, so it's
it's hard to sit there and think of something different than 40 years worth of history of a character, like. And that's to me, anyways. That's like the real of it. Is like you kind of have to like acknowledge that. You know what I mean? So like just because like I don't feel like people are racist just because they've seen a certain version, have a version of in their head of a character that's 40 plus years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I said. It can be a bit of a sticky question to sort of answer, unfortunately. You don't want to come across as that guy. You want to sort of put it in a roundabout way, but not answer it directly because it is like with the community and with the way things are now. You don't want to step in the dog shit. Basically, that's literally all it is.
Right,
because you ain't getting that shit out of your shoes. I can tell you that right now. So.
Phil's got a good question here. Favorite gateway book to give a non-comics friend who's curious about comics?
Ooh. Give a non-comics friend. A lot of people say, and that's why a lot of these companies now are like rehashing the number ones. We'll go to another volume, we'll start at a number one. Like number ones are a good place to start. Especially if they're not continuing from old storylines.
Sorry.
Ignore that one. But yeah, like number ones are a good place to start. But like character wise, like, and I'll say all props to he's one of my comic guys as well, as the same as Simple Simon's, but Mark from Big City Comics. Have you ever watched Simon's channel before? He does a show every week with Mark, and they talk about all different kinds of things. Mark is the ultimate guy to go into, because a lot of people talk about going into a comic shop and it's an old, an old grumpy guy or somebody who's just wants you to buy shit and get out, or like there's not usually. Not saying they're all like that, but there's usually the stigma is it's very hard to get any help at a comic shop. Mark is the total opposite of that. He sees a new face. Hi, how you going? What can I help you with? Oh, what are you looking for? What do you like? What characters do you like? Have you read anything before? Like he asks those sort of questions that will sort of, maybe look at this section, maybe look at the superheroes, maybe look at the horror section, maybe look at the whatever sort of section. It's you ask those sort of questions to sort of narrow it down. Process of elimination.
Yeah.
So I would be the same thing. I would say, look, do you know any characters? Do you like any characters? Have you seen any characters that interest you? Or do you read? Do you read at all? Do you read novels? What type of novels do you read? You might be able to judge something by that. So it's hard to just pick something without knowing the person.
Yeah,
I personally would do the process of elimination thing as well. To try and fine tune it, because you're not just going to go, oh, just pick Spider-Man, just pick Batman, just pick Captain America, just pick something is killing the children. It's very hard to do that without knowing the person on what if they have some. You can always narrow it down. Doesn't matter what kind of person they are. You can narrow it down some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a solid approach. It's just like movies. I mean, you can't just send somebody to the movie theater for a horror movie when they're like terrified of that kind of stuff. Like, that's not going to work. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's not an easy thing unless you narrow down the possibilities. That's just our worst. Each to their own.
SideQuest Comics is in the house. What's going on, homie? Appreciate you coming out. We got Chop and Drop in the house as well. Appreciate you coming out. Otaco Mike is in here, and Kenneth Bird. Thank y'all for coming to hang out with us. Even appreciate y'all. What other books you got to show us there, Spidey?
Yeah, I just pulled out some random books. Like, as I mentioned earlier, I do like to collect sort of the jewel books. Get that without the glare. So that's second appearance of the Leader and first cover appearance of the Leader. I think it's actually second appearance of a tumor as well.
Cool! I didn't know that.
It's not a tumor. That was fucking horrible too. Told you I can't do accents, but I still try. It's either second or third appearance of that fish guy right there. So yeah, I just I don't know what it is, whether it's the smell, whether it's the classic art. Like, I've always loved older comic books.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, like, to be perfectly honest, if I had not unlimited funds, but if I had some job that paid me $1 million a year and stuff like that, I would probably dive in. I can guarantee I would dive into Golden Age. But I just see that I have enough goals and lofty goals that they are in what I'm collecting now that I don't need to dive into that at all.
Would you just go for like the Marvel Atlas type titles, or would you venture outside of that?
And like, I've been, as I said, like, I've been on a bit of a kick last sort of 12, 18 months with a bit of the horror stuff, but I've been sort of narrowing that down to Tomb of Dracula and Werewolf by Night runs. So they're one of the two runs that I'm actively trying to complete. And they're not very common books over here at all. I don't actually think I have. I showed the Tomb one earlier, but I've been actively trying to get those. So I've been sort of on a little bit of a horror kick lately. So I think maybe some pre-code horror books, like, some of them look phenomenal. Some of their covers, like, I don't even care about the stories in them. Even if I was a reader, like, some of them, like, they just, like, even ones that, like, I can't remember the name of the thing. It's like Crime Suspense Stories or something. The one with he's literally carrying the severed head.
Yeah.
Like covers like that are just, they're just awesome. Like, they are literally awesome.
Have you looked at getting any of those homages to that cover, like the Wolverine one or the Blood Hunt one?
Yeah, I know. That's the other thing. Because I try not to get into the variant game too much. I've dived in and out a few times. Yeah. We don't get as many variants, obviously, as you guys do, but I'm trying to stay away from it as much as possible. That is one, like, hell of a slippery slope. Like, not expensive for the book itself, but the amount that there is. It's like,
Yeah.
especially if you've got a main title like a Spider-Man or a Batman or even a Superman or something like that. Like some books have just got like stupid amount of variants. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's nuts. It's absolutely
Dynamite
nuts.
lately has been
Oh,
slaughtering
they're one of the
the
worst. They are literally like, even over here, like as I said, we don't get as many variants as you guys because we don't get the ratios because the shops over here don't have the buying power.
yeah.
But Dynamite, like you still walk into most shops and there's like 10 copies or 10 different variants of like a Red Sonja book or a Vampirella book or something like that. And it's like, really? Like I know there's a lot of people like titty books. But if you actually read inside it, it's not necessarily a titty book.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's literally hey, Rich.
Rich.
It's literally a sexualized horror book. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's but anyway. But yeah, I'd dive into pre-code horror stuff. I think I would love. It is a lot of expensive books. But I'd still love if I was gonna, as I said, like if I had stupid amount of money, I might buy an Action 1 or a Tech 27 or some old school Superman or Batman book just to say I have one.
Yeah.
But like realistically, it would be like an old Timely or something like that. Like it'd be a Human Torch, a Cap, or a Subby book or something in that sort of realm.
Got you. What has gotten you? I find it odd, and I probably shouldn't.
That's me in a nutshell. Yeah, go on.
But for somebody to be like a Spider-Man, Invaders, all that kind of stuff, like fan, for you to also be into horror books like the Tomb of Dracula, the Werewolf, like, so what is it that like really
that was more of a
pushes you towards
recent that was more of a recent thing, and it's kind of weird because like I am a big movie buff as well. As I mentioned earlier, I used to be a big horror movie buff when I was early, but not so much anymore, which is kind of weird. I've sort of done the opposite where I loved horror stuff early on, but I don't watch as much now. And then early on with my comics, I didn't collect any horror stuff at all, but now I'm collecting horror stuff. So I wouldn't. Tomb of Dracula like Tomb of Dracula and Werewolf it's still horror, but it's almost semi-commercialized horror. It's not as hardcore as some of the Golden Age stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of the independent stuff, that have less constrictions on them. But yeah, still fell in love with it. And obviously the Werewolf by Night one shot in Disney absolutely spurned that on. I was collecting them before that show came out or before the little movie came out, but that sort of spurned it on even more because I absolutely loved that Disney Plus movie. That was awesome.
That was good. That was really good.
But one of the few Disney things that was actually really good, not just okay or totally shit. Which is hard for me to say because I always try and look for the silver lining. Always try and look for the silver lining, some way, shape, or form.
Did you prefer the black and white version over the color version?
I did watch both. I think they were both very cool for what they were. I think you got a bit better idea of what Man Thing actually looked like in color because it was a little bit harder in the black and white because all you could see is like the red eyes. You couldn't really see too much detail. So in that sort of aspect, the color would be better. But I think overall feel for it, black and white was probably definitely the better way to go. And I'm glad they released that one first.
From what the rumor is on that is that I don't know if you knew this or not, but the director had to fight for it to be black and white. Kevin Feige was like adamant about it not being black and white.
I think I may have heard whispers of something along those lines, but no specifics though.
Yeah, that's crazy. Rob's Fat Stacks in the house. What's going on, sir? Appreciate you coming out. I'm here now. Start over. We haven't gone through too many books, so
no, exactly. And I've still got This might go for a little bit longer than an hour and a half, maybe, because I do have a little bit of extra surprises in here.
Nice.
I have catered a little bit for this one. But speaking about books, let's just go this one right here.
Yes. Hold on. I'm stopping you. Hold on.
Holy crap!
Now that Rob's here, he says, Rob, I quote what Rob wrote in the comments on the video. I actually unboxed this on New Year's Eve. This was my last goal, my collecting goal for last year now. Well, I have to say, yeah, well, we're both in the new year now. So, yeah, for last year. Quote unquote, he said, now you are a real collector that I own this book. I'm like, yeah, thanks, Rob. I love you.
It's only taken you how long?
Yeah. I've wanted this book for like 10 years. So just to finally own it, I'm super happy to finally get that in the collection. So the other thing, like talking about sort of collecting goals and stuff like that, is yes, I'd love all the runs, I'd love all the issues, I'd love all the keys and all that sort of stuff. In a perfect world, that would be fine. But trying to cut it down to, one hurdle at a time. That's it. Trying to cut it down to sort of like, I try and break it up a little bit. So, things like, okay, yes, I'm going after the entire ASM run. That's a different story altogether. But, okay, I want, this particular keys or this error or this run or whichever, and where it goes from there, I will expand on. One of the smaller, and not a cheap goal, but was to try and get a sub 10 book, or from 1 to 10. We'll say first 10 issues is probably the easy way to put it, in every Marvel title.
Oh, wow.
In the 60s, like in the Silver Age.
Okay.
So obviously from Spidey, Hulk, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Iron Man. Obviously, some like Cap they started at 100 because they were previously in the other run.
Yeah.
So that's what I say. Like in the first 10 books. So 9 times out of 10, the first 10 books are always the most expensive ones. Well, they pretty much are the most expensive ones. I just want at least one in every one of those. So obviously you got the start ones, your Hulks and your Spideys and your FFs and all that sort of stuff. And then you got the ones that came later in the Silver Age, like your Silver Surfer, your Cap, your Iron Man, and things like that. So I literally only now need one, which is Fantastic Four. I have not got a first 10 issues. I actually, in the same con that I picked up the Hulk 180, I picked up a Daredevil number 2.
Nice.
Which is the second appearance of Electro.
Yeah.
I was able, so that actually crossed off the Daredevil because I didn't have any first 10 issues of Daredevil. So obviously you can see like it is a very sort of grubby, rough sort of copy. Like it's not
still looks good, like
that, but it's like it's not really battered or anything like that, but it's still a really nice, for me, it's a nice copy for me. So I was super happy to just cross that one off the list. Obviously, FF is going to be a hard one because there's not many cheap, I'll use that word, books in the first 10 FF. There are a couple that are achievable, but it's a matter of I can't believe you just said that. Actually, no, I can believe it. I can believe it. I actually can believe that. Best giveaway box on YouTube.
I will say, he's working on that one for sure. Yeah.
But FF's going to be a little bit harder. It's going to be a little bit harder because there are some decent sort of books in there. Like not besides obviously number 1 and number 5, which is first Doctor Doom.
Right.
The other ones are sort of not as big a keys, but it's like first Silver Age appearance of Namor and stuff like that, which is still a book that commands a bit of dollars. So, but there are a few that are at least achievable. So, hopefully this year I'll be able to pick up one of those would be nice.
Yeah.
So, but when you're talking about Fantastic Four, like obviously I mentioned, I was a big Silver Surfer fan, so you wouldn't be complete without those two books.
Holy crap!
Holy crap! So I was able to knock them off my collecting goals for this, or for last year, should I say? So I was super, super happy because I've been a big Silver Surfer fan for a long time. Always wanted his first appearance. Trying to find Silver Surfer Volume 1 books over here is super hard. But yeah, super, super happy to get them into the collection. That was one of the bigger deals I was able to pay off over time. It was a deal that was about 60 or 80 books all up. All Silver and Bronze Age Marvel, and a lot of them were run fillers, but there were quite a few keys in there. Obviously, those two were in there. First Black Panther was in there, and a few other bits and pieces.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I was very lucky, and it was one of the guys that I've dealt with multiple times before. So it took me about 6 months or 9 months or whatever to pay it off. But I was super happy with that. So yeah, no, that was good.
Well, and I feel like that, we were talking about older books being cover buys as well now. Like, I feel like that 49, that's a solid cover right there. Like,
yeah, a lot of people actually prefer that over 48, even though 48's the bigger dollar book.
Oh, yeah, no, I love that one. Like, the cover is just fantastic on the colors, like everything.
And realistically, who wants a toga party, with a bald dude? That's, actually, that kind of sounded a bit wrong.
With a man with a baby head.
Yeah, literally. It's an okay cover. Like, it's an iconic cover. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, out of the two, 49 is definitely the way better. Like, more dynamic sort of cover. That's for sure. That is definitely for sure. But
so I assume you have aspirations to get 50 as well to complete the Trinity.
I actually thought I already had it, but I don't. So yes, I need the 50. I need the 50. I need the 50 to get the Trinity, and it's even like the Hulk Wolverine stuff. Like, I still see 172, even though most people don't see it as a Trinity, they just see 180 and 181. They don't even look at 182. It is kind of in the realm of a Trinity sort of book. So, and now that's annoying because now I have 180 and 182, but I don't have 181, which is the big dollar book. So
yeah.
One day maybe, but
Since we're talking about that, I usually ask people, do you consider 180 or 181 to be the first appearance?
180, first is first at the end of the day.
Yeah.
First is first. Like yes, 181 is the big dollar book.
Yes.
Whether that should be the big dollar book or not, that's personal opinion. Like, at the end of the day, Wolverine's in one panel on the last page in 180. It's still his first appearance. I know Rob would like that one. But 181, he's through the whole book. So, and that is why, and obviously he's on the cover as well. So that's why it commands the dollars that it does. But
yeah,
whether it should be evened out a little bit more, whether as 180 should come up a bit more and 181 should come down a bit more, that's probably more my looking at it. But yeah, it's still, first is first at the end of the day.
Gotcha.
Cameo, fall, a foot, a hair, or whatever. if they're in the book in their entirety, then it's still fair. Like, because obviously you got the same thing with Venom. Like, technically 298 or 299, like 298 is mentioned, 299 and you say like a foot or whatever it is that would be more probably classified as a cameo because it's not a full panel or a full body or whatever it happens to be. It's
I thought
so many interpretations.
I thought 299 actually had like a torso up on the very back page. It was like a lot like 180.
It's been a long time since I've looked at that book.
Yeah, I thought 298 had like a hand and a foot or something, and then 299 had like a torso up.
No, you might be right. No, it has been a. 298 is the hand and 299 is full body. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. So a lot of people don't even count 298, but it's like still technically in the book.
Yeah. See, I count if I can see a character enough to recognize them in later books, then that's what I count as their first appearance.
That's probably a very logical way of thinking of it, I would say.
Let's see,
Definitely.
Rob, 299 was the longest time for the first Venom that changed down the road around the late 90s. I still go 299.
Yeah, well, most people are like, well, it's on the labels of 300. First appearance or whatever it is, sort of thing. But I've been involved in so many of these discussions, especially the 180, 181 one, and I'm just like, I'm sick of hearing about it. It's like, I just say, like, I say it. I know I probably stole it from Biggie Shaq, but it's just like, at the end of the day, I just want them all.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't care, like, I have to get 181 because that is the real first appearance and blah, blah, blah. Like, I just want it. I want them all. So I may not get them all, but that's what I say. So I don't limit myself to only wanting first appearances. If there's a cool book that's before it or after it, I'll try and get those too.
Right. Well, and like in all those situations, the second book always has the better cover. Like 300 is by far the better cover than 299. 181 is by far the better cover than 180. Like nobody ever debates that. Like that's just is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah. We won't go any further with this because it's been discussed, debated, fought over for God knows how long. I've been involved in quite a few of these on YouTube, and it's like beating a dead fucking horse. Like, No.
We're on the same page though, so we're good.
Yeah. Exactly.
What else you got? What other books you got? Show us.
The other thing that I do mention, and this is probably another phrase I've sort of coined for me personally, not for the general public, is what I call jinx books.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, jinx books for me is basically something that I've actively bid on or gone to try and win or buy or whatever like that, and always missed out. There was one book, well, actually, there's two books in particular that have cursed me for the last 2 years. I able to get one of them, but I wasn't able to get the other one. And that book is
nice.
168. So first appearance of Elektra. Not in any case a big boy book of any kind. It's just I like Daredevil. I've loved Elektra. Even like a lot of people hated the Daredevil movie. They hated the Elektra movie. I enjoyed them. I'm quite happy to say that publicly. I don't give a crap. But I've always been like a samurai ninja sort of guy, even since I was a kid watching, old school B-grade movies and things like that. So I've always liked that sort of realm of things. So I had a real affinity with Elektra's character in particular. And I've gone after this book. I think I'd last counted like 8 or 9 times, like over the last 2 years. Just when it pops up, it's like everybody wants it at that same time for some stupid reason. So I was finally able to get rid of that. The other book, like I have probably 4 or 5 books, but the other major one is Cap 100.
Okay.
They've been up last 2 Comics Curing Cancer. There's been a copy each of them, and I've been outbid both times. I will get it eventually. Hey, Gary B.
Gary.
I will get it eventually. But it's not like I'm not in like a massive rush to get it or anything like that. It's just a book I'd love to get, and it's on my list. And yeah, I will get it eventually, but I'm not like in a mad rush. I'm like, I have to get that book right now, sort of thing. I'm not. Yeah, it's like most of the books. Like, there's a lot of books that I want more than others, but it's like I've coined the phrase, I just stick to it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, but yeah. So I was lucky to finally get that. Was the worst one out of a lot of them. The ones that I've gone after that many times. And I've always missed out by like $1 or $5 or something like that.
Oh, that's the stuff that'll piss you off like so bad.
Yeah. I even remember Mr. DJ Links actually giving one away in the mix I don't know, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, and I was just like, that's
Yeah.
my fucking book. I want that book. Of course, I didn't win it. Nobody prize tagged me or AOK to me. I was just like, I was trying to be a, like, what's the words I'm looking for? Like subtle hints. Give me that book, stuff like that in the thing. But that didn't work. That did not work. But yeah, I'm glad I got that book finally. So
you finally willed it into existence.
literally,
There you go.
literally, and I paid. If I had won any of those other like 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever times I got it or tried to get it, if I had to pay what I did, I would have paid a lot more than what I did for that one there. So
Oh, nice.
the other ones were like, when it got a little bit of heat at certain points, it was sort of reaching $200 to $300 to $400 or whatever like that, even in a raw. And I picked that up, I think, just under $100. So like I picked it up way less than all the rest of them.
Nice.
So,
I have
have
unfortunately tainted the image of Elektra because the more that I've read that character and seen her in the Netflix Daredevil, the more I've hated that character. So I don't know. I didn't mind the was it Jennifer Garner? I'm with you. Like, I enjoyed that movie when it came out. I enjoyed the Ben Affleck Daredevil when it came out, and but something about the Netflix, and then I read Man Without Fear, the Frank Miller, and I was like, I'm done with this character. She's a fucking nut job, and I can't read or look at her anymore.
Yeah, the actress, shit, what was her name? Can't remember her name. Is there somebody written? Yeah, Lodi Young, that's the one. I think she looked the part.
Yes,
She looked the part, like physical, like she did like a lot of training to get to that sort of. I think she'd actually done some prior martial arts stuff to that, so she really looked the part. But she just didn't seem to portray. Like, she's a great actress. Don't get me wrong. I don't think she portrayed the part in the way I imagine Elektra to be.
Yeah.
Elektra's more of the, she's the assassin, so she's less of a chatterboxy, annoying person, and more of a, sort of quiet, more stoic, almost sort of type character. So whether that was the script or the storyline or whichever, that sort of, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but I think she looked the part at least for the Netflix show.
I was gonna say, don't read Man Without Fear, because that will totally ruin your depiction of Elektra. I promise you.
I'd be more inclined to read the older Frank Miller stuff, with obviously, stuff with Bullseye and the hand and and all that sort of stuff. Like, that's more my sort of thing. Even though a lot of people love that storyline, I'd be more inclined to go the older stuff first if I was going to go back to reading. So,
it's great, and Frank Miller wrote that too.
Mm.
So like it's a great storyline, like a 5-issue miniseries just to read it. But like when she comes, like she's just banana pants crazy. She's crazy. I couldn't. Kuiper Combo in the house. Happy New Year to you as well. Thanks for coming and hanging out this evening. Appreciate you. Gary B as well. Appreciate you coming out, dude. Thank you.
So I do have one last book before I get into the little bit of tailored sort of stuff and a little bit of extra stuff.
Nice. Yes.
Like obviously we've touched on it quite a lot. I am actively seeking an entire, and I'm not talking volume 1, an entire, all volumes, all annuals, all issues, except for obviously stupid variants and things like that, of the Amazing Spider-Man run. So you're talking probably close to 1,000 books, at least. Like, normal run plus like an annual or 2 annuals or whatever, like, every year, plus those stupid point ones and point LRs and all that sort of stuff they did a little bit earlier. It's probably close to 1,000 books. At the start of the year, I had a goal to knock off at least one of the 3 remaining books that I need. So whole entire run, 3 remaining books, and I was able to off first Sandman, so ASM number 4. It's only in a 2.0, and obviously the the side gag is that if you know me or if you do not know me, should I say, I am not a slab guy. I do not collect slabs. I will crack slabs if I buy slabs. I only do it primarily because, being an opportunistic buyer, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
If I'm buying at the same price in a slab as I would as normally as a raw, then obviously that's a no-brainer, basically.
Yeah.
So, when a book like this that comes up, I've probably seen this book maybe once or twice in the last 5 to 10 years, like for sale over here. When one comes up and the guy, him and he lets you pay it off, you just jump on the opportunity, pure and simple.
Yeah.
2.0, it is complete. It will be cracked eventually. People are going to start going, "You're fucking nuts! Don't crack that!" Well, yes, I will.
I have a question, but before the question, I have this.
Holy crap!
So my question is, you're not a reader right now. Right now, you're not a reader.
Why would you?
But you are like anti-slab. It seems like. So why anti-slab?
I still want to be able to, and half of this question is normal and half of this question is creepy. But if you are an old school collector, you will get it. You will definitely get it.
Okay.
I still love to be able to look at the book. I may not read it, but I still like to occasionally just pick up one of my old school books and just have a bit of a flick through at the art and just go, shit, this was awesome. This is awesome. Was awesome for its time, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
The creepy thing is the smell.
Oh no, I know.
If you're a collector, you like older books, you have a fascination with old comic book smell. There is no denying it. There is no shying away from it. It is a very common thing.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, no, it's not weird to me.
Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not against slabs. I can understand a lot of positive points. Like obviously, display points, preservation points, even stuff as far as your insurance. Like it's easier to insure stuff that's registered, numbered, graded, all that sort of stuff. I get it. Don't worry. I absolutely get it. But for me personally, I'd love to be able to go, one, if I do want to go and go back to reading, as I said, I'd like to be able to go pick up a book that wasn't a slab instead of going, oh, crap. Now I've got to find this digitally, or I've got to buy a facsimile, or I've got to buy another copy. I'm not doing that. I'd like to be able to just pick it up, pull it out of the bag and board, and just read the book. But still just be able to look at the book at the end of the day without going, oh, it's in a plastic coffin. It's not, like as I said, like I can see the great points and I get it and I agree with it, but it's just not for me personally. So that's probably a good thing. Or if you worked in a government building.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So
how do you feel about, I don't even know, is this educate me on this company here, because y'all have y'all's own grading company there in Australia. Halo, right?
Halo is a one-man band, or pretty much a one-man band. I think a bit like PGX, a one-man band.
PGX, EGS, I believe too. Yeah,
it's not a very. I know a lot of Australian stuff is becoming a little bit more sought after. Not as much, not as big as like obviously the American stuff, but Halo slabs, I know, especially in the community, a lot of people want one. Just to say they have one, because a lot of people want all the different companies, or they just want one just to say they have one. But it is literally just a one-man band. We used to own a comic book store. He literally shut it down, I think the middle of last year, should I say. I've owned Halo slabs, obviously. I've cracked Halo slabs on my channel and on Simple Simon's channel.
Yeah.
But they are fucking solid. Like they are rock solid. Like if Remy or Nikki Pancakes, those guys are in the chat, they can vouch for that, because I've actually sent them Halo slabs, or a Halo slab, should I say. And they're a little bit different. Like the inner well is designed just a slight bit different, so it's not like your common sort of stuff. But yeah, it's okay for what it is. Like you're not gonna are you gonna like CBCS or PGX or whatever? Are you gonna get premium over a CGC 9.8? No, you're not. Of course not. CGC has got the market by the nuts.
Yeah.
If you sell a 9.8 CGC, you're going to get more for that than you would any other company. It doesn't matter what other company it is. At the end of the day, that's just brass taxes. That's what the truth is. So, but yeah, it's a cool little thing, you know.
It's the same as comparing like what we were doing earlier. The first appearances, like the market has decided 181. Like the market has decided CGC. Like that just is what it is.
Yeah.
So
it's like Microsoft in the 90s. Like everybody wanted Microsoft. That was everything. And now it's just open slather. You know, I sold computers a long time ago, so I know what that deal is. I absolutely hated Macs and Macintosh and all that, and Apple in general. Like, we don't sell that shit if somebody asks for one, and now I own an iPhone and a MacBook. So, you know, the world works in mysterious ways. So,
right.
but yeah, it's just one of those, things that like that's how it works. Like I've said, I do actually have some plans, and I'm not, obviously going into specifics.
Yeah.
But I do have a few just little niggles in the back of my brain saying I'd like to get that book in a Halo slab for that particular community member. I do have a few ideas, whether they appreciate, like obviously everybody's going to appreciate a gift regardless, but whether it just goes that extra step to hit the feels or not is what I'm aiming for. So I have, as I said, a few specific people, a few specific books. Some of them are damn near fucking impossible. But I don't want to settle. I don't want to just buy a random thing just for the sake. Like if somebody asks me, look, can you buy me a random Halo book or something like that? And I happen to find one. Yeah, sure. No worries. I can help them out. But at the end of the day, it's probably just as easy just buying one off eBay Australia and just getting it shipped to you, and then it would be for me to do it. So,
well, I think you can even access the Halo site from here. Sure so, like, you could just submit.
You could, but it is well, actually, in saying that, because I know it's actually, I think it's like $60 a book or something, so it's not cheap. But if you do the currency conversion, you guys actually work out a bit better because if you buy something from Australia, you're actually paying. It's like what you're actually paying less for it. In other words, so because if I buy something that say is $100, it'll cost me about 150 to 160 Australian dollars. But it works in the other way. So if you buy something that's $100 Australian, it ends up costing you about 50 or 60 US. So you're actually paying less for it than what the asking price is. But obviously it's the shipping that kills you, like everything. Everything that's international, it's always the shipping.
Right.
So
yes.
I haven't actually shown this one on my channel yet. I was
gonna say I saw one that was similar, but it was the Silver Age
one. So this is what they would classify as the modern age version.
Yep.
I actually tried to find one of the full size statues, but I digging in that pile is not easy. I couldn't find it for the life of me. But I did notice this one was actually close to the Silver Age version. So
yes.
It's a fairly basic sort of, because it was one of the early.
Oh wow!
It's 2,000 worldwide limited, so it's 382. As I say in my videos, I've never been fussed about the numbers. It's just about it's like the same with the books. I just want the book. I don't care about the grade and whatever. As long as it's complete, that's fine. It's the same with these things as well. Like I have some ultra rare ones that are like artist proofs or signed and all that sort of stuff. At the end of the day, it's great, it's awesome, but it's not like going to make me pay extra money for it if I can just get the normal thing.
Right.
But the base is still fairly basic. You know, like
Yeah, but like I like that though.
so that's so that's your sort of your standard. Like everybody knows, I collect the Bowen statue stuff. Obviously, it's got the blurb on the side,
Yes.
so it's actually got the picture of the first appearance book, and then something that was a book that came out around the time of release of this particular piece. But they got more elaborate as they went on. So you go to some of the later phases, and then they started getting arms, or the bases started getting more complex, or there was things that you would attach and things like that. So
Yeah.
but I still think like if you're somebody working on a budget, something like these, even though these is obviously a slightly bad example because they've been around for a while. Obviously, they're a bit more desirable because of they haven't been made for quite a few many years. It's probably a little bit harder, but you might still be able to find some for reasonable prices.
Oh yeah.
But like, and I'm the same. Like, I love the big, expensive, fancy statues that are like 10 feet tall and shoot champagne and all that sort of stuff. But okay, yeah, I don't display this because I haven't got the room for it. But not everybody. If somebody does have statue of himself, if somebody does have the room for it, the big premium statue type stuff can quite often that's all you get. You get one, you might want many. It's like I only have that space, and that's all I've got. The space for. So, and that's why a lot of people don't get into either figures or statues or any of that sort of stuff because it's a space thing. At the end of the day, they'd love to, but it's a space thing. So, is there any more starred questions, just in case?
Or
nothing relevant.
Yeah. There's two. Let's do this one real quick. Let's do Dale. Dale said earlier, did you say you have the Marvel features for Defenders or you do not?
No. I do not have any because they're three Marvel features. So Marvel feature 1, 2, and 3, obviously. I do not have any of them. They are. I am actively hunting those 3. Obviously, number 1 being the first appearance of the Defenders is the big dollar book out of the 3. But they're not easy to come by over here at all.
Yeah.
So, but no, I do not have any of the 3 of them, unfortunately.
And I feel like we've kind of gone over this throughout the show, but besides Spider-Man, who or some, and then he specifies 3. We can't stick to some
3
of your other favorite characters.
Yeah, so I'd say Wolverine, Ghost Rider, and probably Punisher would probably be the 3 other main ones, I would say. If I had to go 3 only, just for Trav.
Blue Hellion came into the chat. What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming and hanging out this evening, as well as Bobby Delgado. Get those balloons out of here. Appreciate you coming and hanging out, Bobby. And we got Ryan Riley as well. Hello, mates. What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming out.
Ryan.
Cool.
I did bring something else.
Yes.
One of my just pick the folder out of random. Hopefully there's something that's appealing to somebody in here.
Holy crap worthy? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, whether it be character or artist or something that might appeal to somebody in the chat or maybe even the host.
Yes!
Holy crap!
That's freaking awesome! Oh my, yes!
So
that's fantastic.
2013, got this from Mr. Bob Layton himself.
Wow.
I was going to, at the time, I was going to just get. I did that at the start of my art collecting journey, where I try to pick characters that that the artist was known for. So I obviously went Iron Man with Bob Layton. And then
Yeah.
I'm just like, at that point in time, it was negligible the amount to get as an additional character. So I actually like Doctor Doom was one of my favorite villains outside of the Spideyverse. So I went, hell, let's just do a two-page piece. And then he threw in just a little just basic sort of background elements with a little bit of clouding and things like. It's not much just to throw a few extra lines in, but it gives it that kind of depth.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day. So once again, I don't think it's a piece I've actually shown on my channel as of yet. I only do like one artist at a time. So obviously some artists I have multiple pieces from. A lot of them I only have one piece from. So it's sort of just churning through them a bit. But sometimes it's also I'll grab a folder and it'll be like, oh yeah, I want to do that artist. I'm like, oh crap. I have 3 other pieces, but I don't know what folders they're in. I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'll just pick one that's got like one piece.
So how do you acquire something like that? Like that's insane.
So, and I've always thought about it. I've always thought about doing some kind, like obviously I do my artist series on my channel, which is purely just showing original art that I've acquired from said artist.
Yeah.
So like for me, like prime example, when I do my Bob Layton episode, I'll be showing that and the one other piece that I have from Bob because I know I have 2. That is primarily the thing. Like obviously, I'll do a quick little. Okay, Bob Layton's mainly known for Iron Man, and he's worked for Marvel, he's worked for this, he's worked for that, and he's done this, he's done that. So I just do a very quick. I don't do an in-depth one because at the end of the day, people watching the episode just want to see the art. They all know I waffle on, so they usually just fast forward till I show the art, and then that's all they want, which is fine. Each to their own, as I said. But I've always thought about, and I've spoken with, because obviously the other massive art collector, one of the massive art collectors in the community is Mike Beckerman. I've spitballed a few little ideas of like maybe collecting original art, like a 101 type basic class or something like that, not necessarily a class, but like a video series or something like that. But I think it's probably hard with obviously time zone differences and work schedules and all that sort of stuff to try and do anything like that, unfortunately. But I always wanted to try and look at doing something like that, just to give one person information that they did not know anything about, that may want to get him into the game, because I'm not in the game anymore. I say I'm on hiatus, but I can say I'm basically retired because it is very hard to collect original art and books at the same time.
Yeah.
Because they both demand a lot of money, and especially when you're on a budget. But basically, like 98% or 95, 98, very close to almost 100% of my collection is all commissions from artists. I don't have any covers at all. I only have maybe 3 or 4 original pages, like interiors. So everything is basically commissioned. So it's anything from getting them at a convention to getting them done at home to buying something they've already done before, to going through art reps or going through the artists themselves. So there's multitude of ways you can get them. But once again, like everything else, it is a very slippery slope. If anybody is thinking about getting into it and they're not really in it and they really want to get into it like pretty hardcore, be the most patient person on the earth. That's the easiest way, because artists will put deadlines, especially the commission game. Obviously, if you're buying stuff that's already been made, like pages, covers, etc., that's not here nor there because the product is already done. It's ready to rock and roll, sort of thing. Whether it's commissioned, it has to be done from scratch.
Yeah.
So it can be, you have to be extremely patient. You have to stick to your guidelines that you want to do, and guidelines meaning things like more to do with payment. A lot of artists will ask for full payment up front, and there's no ifs or buts or whatever. It's like, I want it up front or I don't do the commission. That's how they work. Some
Yeah.
guys will do half and half, so half on start, half on completion. Some people will do full payment at the end, or when they started, or there's a lot of different ways artists will work.
Mm.
Just stick to your guns. That's all I can say, because I've been burnt. I've had a lot of bad experiences. Most of mine are time frame issues. I put it this way: the shortest time I've had to wait for an original piece of art to be done from start to scratch is 2 to 3 weeks. The longest is 7 years.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Who? Go ahead.
who was that?
No, I was gonna say who was the most fun or easiest to work with, and then of course the vice versa. Who was the like worst, and you just kind of regret doing it?
And that's the thing I've struggled with, because there are some episodes I have not done yet.
I got you.
The longest wait guy, I have done the episode on my channel, so that's public knowledge.
Okay.
The worst experience commissioning an artist I have not done yet. That one I'm still hesitating a little to do.
Yeah,
I will do it eventually. I've just got to either have a shitty day at work and just go, fuck it, let's do it. Or and like I'll just unleash on this guy, or I run out of material and that's the last piece of original art I have, and here's the last episode I do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so,
I got you.
Yeah, it will happen eventually, but
Yeah.
Time frame wise, best one was actually Mark McKenna. So he's more known as an inker, and he's been in the industry 30 something years. That was like from initial contact to getting another artist actually to do just a rough outlay, and then he literally do everything else in inks and everything like that. To him shipping it from the States to me getting it was in 3 weeks. Like that is fucking phenomenal. Like absolutely phenomenal. I still don't even know how he did it. I honestly still don't even know how he did it, because most times you send stuff just airmail or stuff like that from the States to Australia, it's going to take at least 2 weeks, at least. So I honestly don't know how he did it, but definitely definitely phenomenal effort, like from start to finish. Super nice guy to deal with, very easy, very accommodating, and obviously the worst one, in time wise, that is, if you have not seen the episode, it is one of the longer episodes I did, because I literally went through the whole story pretty much. Was Philippe Massafera.
Okay.
Which a lot of people have known him for a lot of his recent cover work, especially like Big Time Collectibles, a lot of the exclusive type online companies.
Yeah.
He was 7 years.
Wow.
So, yeah,
that's insane.
Watch the video if you want to know that one, but just be warned, it is like a half-hour video, because I do it's 7 years worth of stuff to go through. But in saying that, once again, the old patience is a virtue.
Yeah.
I did end up getting 3 pieces from him,
nice.
because he felt that bad.
Okay.
So I got the original one that I actually commissioned.
Yeah.
Plus another full one of the same size, but just a little less detail in the background. And then I actually got a small, actually, I think I did see that in this folder, I think. Hang on, give me a second. Yeah, there it is. And he actually did that as the apology.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is badass.
So not a finely tuned sketch, but it's pretty fucking good at the same time.
Right? Man, that face. Oh, that's cool.
So sorry for the long wait. So I literally got 3 pieces for the or two and a half pieces for the price of one.
Yeah. And you would you attribute that to his character on top of you being patient, or being
it's to be perfectly honest, it's hard to say, because I know he is notorious for forgetting or for taking long times and things like that. Not necessarily that amount of time, but I know, like, I actually looked at it and I thought in my brain, I averaged it out with all the ones that's taken a couple of weeks to a couple of months, or the ones that have taken years and years and years. I think I have something like, I don't know, 250, 300 pieces, roughly. I would average it out to between 2 to 3 years waiting time. If you average them all out, like all the good and all the bad, that would be the average time. So that's what I meant by, if you want to get into the game, be very, very patient, but stick to your guns at the same. Don't badger the person. Because if you badger them, that's going to make it worse.
Right.
Check in with them. Maybe once a month or once every couple of months, or whatever. Oh, how you going? How's things going? Or whatever like that. Any progress, whatever. Try and be as nice as you can. Obviously, be direct, but try and be as nice as you can and as patient as you can. And 9 times out of 10, if it is taking longer, you will get more than what you paid for. So that is the key that I can give you if you want to go that route.
That's cool.
But I'll also give you a little bit of an infamous piece. Only infamous because of the amount that I actually got for my money. Now, this is actually a very good... I've mentioned this a million times. I do have a good friend in the industry. His name's David Yarden. I've known him for... he was my first con sketch ever. And then literally just the friendship spurned from there. I have multiple pieces from Dave because quite often, if I have some spare money, I'll fuck it, I'll just get another piece from you. There was one piece, and I'm trying to say the story without sort of saying too much detail, but we went across to a different state to go to the convention. Dave was there with obviously the new artists that were there, international artists, and I had some spare money. There was nothing else there really to buy that I really wanted. And I said to Dave, look, I want to grab another piece. What are you sort of thinking and all that sort of stuff? And he actually said to me, he goes, look, I'm actually a bit strapped for cash at the moment. I've got a few unexpected bills that's come in and stuff like that. And I go, look, dude, I think we've known each other long enough. I just gave him the money in full. I said, just whenever. I'll see you at some point in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. I'll see you multiple times. Just do it whenever.
Yeah.
So it was greatly appreciated of that. I'd paid for 11 by 17, which is standard comic book size page.
Yeah.
I asked for full figure, so full body, in color. And he generally doesn't do a lot of background sort of stuff. He might do small sort of elements and things like that. So yeah, I pretty much gave him the money. He said, yeah, whenever. So the next con that I actually attended, the next major con this was whatever year it was, but it was in October, November. My first con in my home city in Melbourne was Supernova, which is in, I think, March or April. And I didn't even message him. I knew he was coming. I didn't even message him to say, look, have you got anywhere with a piece or anything like that? I knew I'd get it eventually, so I wasn't in a rush. Yeah. So I hadn't even got to the con. I was actually getting there a little bit late on the first day for some strange reason. I'm getting all these messages going, fuck, is this yours? I'm stealing it. Whose is this? What's this? Blah, blah, all this rumblings and whatever. And they're like, what the fuck? I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, have you seen Dave's IG? And I'm like, no, I haven't even looked at it today. And he goes, if you want to be surprised, don't look. And I'm like, I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. So this is one of my mates in my small art collecting group here. So I get to the con. I actually went to the internationals that had come here for the first time and set up my, commissions and stuff like that. And then I went, obviously go to see Dave a little bit after that. And I'm like, g'day, mate, how you going? The usual sort of stuff, shake hands, give him a hug and all that sort of stuff. And he's like, do you want to see it? And I'm like, see what? He goes, I know everybody's been messaging you this morning. And I'm like, but they've been all vague. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And he goes, I finished the piece. I'm like, okay. I'm like, did you decide on a character? You obviously decided on a character. Because I just left it up to him. He knows what he's already done for me. I said, just what do you want to do? Just leave it up to him. And he goes, yeah, I chose the character and I've done the piece. I went a little bit overboard. And I'm like, he goes, you helped me out. So I know, I'm just returning the favor.
Oh, wow. Damn.
So,
Holy crap!
That's freaking amazing.
And the goofy part of this is the Mrs. Spidey calls this the Tom Selleck piece. So,
he's never looked any better, let's be honest.
Yeah. So like it's just like dead carcass,
wow,
grass. Obviously he's got to have a bit of a bulge because he's that manly kind of man. Just even the like detail in the knife and just blood splatter and he
that
like
is insane.
He just went like ridiculously above and beyond.
Wow. What is that done in?
In Copic markers. So
wow.
It'll be his initial outlay will be done obviously in pencil, and then he'll do small sort of like just main lines in ink, but then everything else is fully done in Copic markers. So all right, well, I'll show the thing. So this is what you'd probably normally get from Dave as a convention piece.
Oh wow!
So obviously, yeah, like a little bit extra with the webbing in this, but it's not like super detailed background.
Right? It's not like grass and carcass and all this. Yeah.
So but still obviously hyper detailed
sort
of body and muscle and bone structure and things like that, and just the added little tinge of blue just to sort of make it pop a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's what you would sort of normally get if he was doing that sort of tier for things. Yeah. So obviously the Craven piece is, it's what you would classify as cover quality piece.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know whether there's anything much else because this folder's a little. I picked the one that's like half empty, of course, but at least it had some banger pieces in there.
Absolutely.
So what else we got in here? Just checking. Yeah, some cool pieces. I do like this one though. This was actually a piece that I got done in the last major convention we had when we first learnt the pandemic had actually hit Australia. So this was in March of 2020, and Freddie Williams was coming. So if you don't know Freddie Williams, he's obviously well known for doing a lot of DC stuff. He has done some Marvel stuff, but he's done a lot of Turtles and He-Man, a lot of those crossover sort of books as well.
Okay, yeah.
And things like that. And it's very distinguishable sort of style. If you've sort of seen his work before, you'll know who he is. But he's been to Australia quite a few times. So he's almost an adopted sort of Aussie, basically, because he's been here 5, 6, 7 times, something like that.
Oh, cool.
When a lot of other guys have just been here once. And he, so I'd organised it pre-show. So I was literally just picking it up at the show. And it was literally because this was when, like I said, it was the start of the pandemic when it hit here. But they were all we're hearing all these rumblings about, what's this thing we're hearing about? Is it real? Is it fake? Is it whatever? And we didn't know what was going on. And it ended up was lucky actually that Freddie and his wife Kiki was actually struggled to get out of the country, because that's when they started shutting the airports and shutting flights down and all that sort of stuff. So they were very lucky to get out.
Yeah.
But this almost, from what Freddie was telling me, this almost became a variant cover for somebody at some point, but it never ended up eventuating. But you got a Spider-Man Noir.
Oh, cool.
So obviously a bit
That's cool.
more.
Wow.
At that point, like the character hadn't been out an awful long time. But a character I sort of I just dug the outfit really.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's very sort of golden age-ish, but with a little bit of modern sort of twist to it. But yeah, it's just a very cool, yeah. Like this, I can't remember. He did tell me the retailer that was looking at using this as a cover, but yeah, never ended up eventuating. So yeah, there we go. On the 125 for the current run on Last Roman. Yeah.
I was gonna say Hyper knows his turtle stuff.
So yeah, there you go. So
Escape from Australia. Like his art style on that like reminds me of somebody else, but I can't
put your
place
finger on
it.
it, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
he has, when you
super cool.
see, like when you look at his turtles, then you look at his He-Man, and then you look at his Thundercats and all that sort of stuff, you can see the style is the same. It's just the different sort of things. Because some artists change their style differently depending on what they're drawing.
Uh-huh.
But his is, yeah, very distinguishable.
Is he doing Thundercats right now as well?
I don't know whether he's doing it like right now. I know he's done some.
Okay.
But I don't know whether he's actually done some right now or not. But yeah, he's done
Got you.
a lot of that 80s sort of nostalgia stuff that's, you know, been populating our comic book stores in the last, 5 years or more.
Yeah.
So,
It's been
but,
dominating Dynamite. Because they
which
bought it all.
weirdly enough, we cannot get over here. For some strange reason, like you try and order it through Pull Box, through your comic shop and stuff like that, and when you actually order it through either Diamond or Luna or whatever your distributor is, it says not available in your region.
And that's with all Dynamite, or is that with just
That's with all the 80s nostalgia stuff.
Oh.
Because the missus, she loves the old Disney gargoyles.
Yeah.
And when they brought out that first, so I think it was like a 12-part series, before they started branching off to a lot of the smaller mini series, they somehow got to issue 9, and then all the comic shops are like, no, they won't send from 10 onwards. So obviously that was when the embargo happened. So we actually shout out to Rob Fatstacks that actually helped us get the last 3 issues.
Okay.
But yeah, you cannot get Gargoyles, Space Ghost, Thundercats, all that sort of Diamond 80s nostalgia stuff.
Yeah.
They will not even let you order it through Diamond or anything like that over here.
That's weird.
That's dumb. It is dumb. Fucking dumb.
What would you want from me then? Is there anything you would want from the news?
It's not for me. It was more the gargoyle stuff for the missus. But
yeah.
I know because we went into like the comic shop that we normally go into, not Mark from Big City Comics, and they actually had a stack of those books on there. And I'm like, you can't order these. Have they lifted the embargo or the I think it's something to do with licensing for some strange reason. But if they lifted it and they're like, nah, we ordered all these from a comic book shop in the States.
Wow.
So they literally ordered like, 4 or 5 copies of like most of the main like A, B, C sort of covers in most of the main issues and titles to try and generate some business from that market because nobody else has got them.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. Well, I'll just let you know you're not missing out on the Thundercats.
I think it's more of a it's more of a nostalgia and an art based love more than anything else. So
they're killing it on some of the covers. Like they keep getting me with those Thundercat covers. Like they
some of the Perillo covers for a lot of that stuff is fucking amazing. Like I saw some of the ones that they did for that Gargoyle series, and some of them were gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. However, I did get one today that was a Perillo cover, and I looked at it and I was like, what happened here?
Is he slipping?
I was like, his Lion-O just threw me off and it made me mad. I was disappointed.
What's wrong with his face?
I'll make a post. It'll be on IG. I'll tag you.
I love my 90s. I love my 80s and my 90s nostalgia stuff, but I'm not falling down another rabbit hole. It's hard enough doing all the Marvel stuff, let alone starting getting into all that too. The movies and the comic, the movies and the like animated series and stuff, I'll buy on physical media, but I'm not going down comics or statues or any of that sort of stuff for that sort of thing. I need to cut down on the ridiculousness.
How is physical media going for you over there? Especially with Disney pulling out, like is Sony stepping up and
that's the other thing. Disney not doing physical media anymore. I don't know whether that's worldwide or just over here or a few countries or what the deal is with that. Apparently we were the trial country, which was once again fucking stupid. Don't pick some country like literally like the States would be the ideal test candidate, because if you're going to sell 1 million units of something over there, you're only going to sell probably 50,000 or 100,000 at absolute most over here. At absolute most, and even that's probably being generous, because obviously population density, availability to people that are not near main cities, and and things like that. A lot of different factors. But they used us as a trial thing. So I think the last one I got, I'd like to say was Black Panther 2. I think it was the last Marvel movie or anything that I got. Like, we didn't even get like Deadpool versus Wolverine on the because I love the Steel books too. Mm-hmm. So we didn't even get that.
Wow.
So which is, but in saying that, it's kind of good in the way where it's like, well, I don't have to think about it as much anymore.
Yeah,
it's like that's a little less money out of the small kitty that I have.
Yeah,
to try and get things. So it's yes, I miss it, but at the end of the day, it's probably a good thing too. But there's a lot of people still love physical media. It's all about nostalgia. It's all about collecting stuff that you collected or had as a kid or growing up and things like that. Like VHS is coming back, for God's sake. Like, I threw out hundreds of VHS because I couldn't give that shit away. Not give that. I was literally like, we have the different bins that go out like every week and stuff like that. The general waste bins are just your normal rubbish. I literally was only allowed to fill out half the bin every week. I had that many VHS that I couldn't sell at a pawn shop or anything. Couldn't give it away. But now people want them.
And like even over here, like some of the bigger things are like the C and D horror movies on VHS that like never came to DVD. Like those are some of the most expensive VHSs that sell.
Like I mentioned earlier, I still have probably maybe 5 or 6 like really like obscure sort of things that I still have on VHS at home that I've never been able to replace on DVD or Blu-ray. And that's why a lot of people are getting back. And they did some awesome stuff, like like the embossed sort of covers, or ones with like blood in the front of it, or ones that had like cutouts that extended past the normal clamshell. They did a lot of weird and wacky stuff with VHS, which they never really did much with with Blu-ray or DVDs or 4K. It's literally just okay, well, it's either normal or it's or it's a steel book, or it might have a lenticular or something like that.
Yeah,
nothing like above the ordinary.
I feel like they tried to do certain things when they finally got rid of those like clip DVD cases. I feel like they tried and they started getting when they started doing that. I feel like they tried to start doing some things where they'd do like a slip cover that was like see through and you pull it off and it's a whole nother picture, or like you were saying, the lenticulars and stuff like that. But it's like once they went to Blu-ray, they were like, no, we're done with all that shit. Like that's not a thing anymore. And they were like, oh, we'll do the metal cases, but that's as far as we're going.
And I like the steel books, I really do. But the one thing I do regret, and this is going to sound weird from the Marvel guy, but we had 3 choices in like the higher sort of stuff. For the original Justice League release, not the Snyder Cut, but the original one. You had obviously your normal Blu-ray or Blu-ray and 4K bundle and things like that. You had the Steelbook, and then you had the lenticular, but the lenticular actually had like a booklet as part of the actual thing.
Yeah,
I
digibook.
bought that
Yes.
one. I bought that one. I should have bought the steelbook.
Really?
I didn't realize at the time the steelbook, the art was all done by Jim Lee. And it was highly,
Oh,
highly low print run and highly sought after.
I did
And
not know that.
I just bought the lenticular book one because it was the most expensive one. It was the coolest looking one at the time. And I'm like, I should have bought the steelbook. I should have just stuck to what I knew and did that. No. Of course I did.
I love those digibook cases. I love them. I've got a good bit of the the Zack Snyder Disney or DC stuff that because they Target did them or something over here. So yeah, I love those cases, the digibooks ones. But I did not know that Jim Lee did artwork in the steelbook, and that's pretty cool. That's cool info.
Yeah. I don't know whether we get the same steel books as what the rest of the world does or not. I'm not 100% sure how that works.
Right.
But I know sometimes it's different, but sometimes it's the same one. So, I've seen some of the ones that, like, I know Mark from Legion. He buys a lot of the steel books, and we're like, that's not the same steel book we got over here.
Yeah.
So it can be quite different.
Yeah, I noticed some of your Spider-Man because you were showing in one video your Spider-Man collection of the movies, and I was like, I don't think we have that.
Yeah, they were a bit of an anomaly. They were the ones, especially the animated series. They were a bit of an anomaly because there was a company that had the rights to all Marvel animated series from the 60s to the early 2000s. They only had the license for 12 months or 2 years or something like that. So I went crazy and just tried to get every single one I could. But that was super. Yeah, that was super cool. Every single one had a slightly embossed slip cover. They were all very comic graphic orientated, but fairly simple. So if kids wanted to watch it, it wasn't too wordy or anything like that. It was just nice, blam in your face. This is what it is, and you can watch it. So yeah, they were really cool. It was actually a company based in the UK, which I thought was even weirder, that UK would get the rights to a US property, but they did for that short time, and I took advantage of that.
Marvel needed money.
Yeah. But now most of them are on Disney Plus now anyway, so not all of them, but most of them are.
Yeah. Cool. Well, you got anything else to show us?
I'm all out.
All out.
All out.
All out. Well, thank you so much for coming.
If I was at home, you'd be gone for another 2-3 years.
That just means I gotta have you back on. I love your collection. I love talking all this stuff with you. It's fantastic.
You'll have to come up with a new set of questions, though, and stop taking the zingers from TM in the chat.
They were chatty tonight. They're usually not this chatty, so that
was good. No, that was good.
Yeah,
I had the same thing. The same thing with as I mentioned when I was on Matt's one, which is Comic Conversations, Heroes for Hire Club. We had a lot. He goes, we actually had a lot of questions in the chat tonight. Which is fantastic. So
yeah. I got to take advantage when they're doing that.
No, definitely. Great. And you did the right thing. Just star them all and go. Oh, we'll use that next time too.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. What do you got coming up on your channel?
So what have I got coming? Yeah, so I've still got another one of my artist series that I obviously was able to tape. So I just need to put that together and release that in the next few days. Obviously Spidey's Outback every Sunday morning for me, every Saturday night for you guys. What else have I got? I'll do some of my other obviously nothing. I always do everything off the cuff, so I will eventually get back to. That's one thing I wanted to try and do this holidays, was try and do a slab cracking with Spidey, but I never got around to it. If you know, the conditions have to be exact. Can't be hot, can't be raining. It's very hard to actually do those episodes. Everybody's just walk in there and just smash it. It's not. It's in an old tin shed and it either gets very hot or it gets very noisy if it rains. So yeah, that's what I mean by it has to be perfect conditions to be able to do those videos. But I'd love to try and, because I'm amassing too many slabs now and it's making me feel sick.
I'm missing all these smells.
Yeah, missing all the smells. I'm almost got an appearance on Only Slabs. I've got to rectify this. I think I actually worked it out. I think I have something like 15 or 16 slabs or something, and the requirement's like 20 to 25 for Only Slabs. So I'm actually almost there. So I need to start cracking some shit. But yeah, I'll have more artist series, have more statue stuff. I'm thinking about dabbling in a few different things this year, whether it comes to fruition or not. I just don't want to do the same stagnant. Even though people love what I do, I don't want to have the same stagnant stuff week in, week out. I want to be able to spread it out a little bit more at the same time. So, but I'll spitball some ideas and see how I go.
That's me too. That's me too. I feel like I've done enough for the last 3 years or whatever it is. That's like, okay, it's time to change it up just a little bit, just to get out of my comfort zone.
I'll be hitting, I think it's mid-April. It'll be 4 years for me. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think it's July. It's 4 for me. So, yeah, we started around the same time.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
The irony is the Deadpool Wolverine Steelbook sold out in North America, and I ordered a copy from Amazon UK, which shipped from Australia. I don't know about that one. That's a bit weird. Because I know a couple of mates of mine, they still collect the Steelbooks as well. They had to go to Amazon UK to buy the ones where it had like the opposite covers. So one had like predominantly Wolverine, one had predominantly Deadpool.
Yeah.
I know they got that from Amazon UK, but I didn't think it would ship out of here. I was going to say, because the missus works right around the corner from the bloody Amazon freaking warehouse here in Australia. I'd be like, go and pinch me one.
That's great. I think that Sony took over all of Disney's. I think that was a trade out or something, and I think Sony is actually doing all of Disney's physical media now.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
we might get some re-releases of stuff then, possibly.
Maybe get something at least. Something better than nothing.
Do something right, Sony. You've heard it. You've heard it here first. Do something right.
That's funny. Cool. All right. Well, you'll be able to find all of Spidey's information down in the description below. I got a link to his YouTube page. I got a link to his IG down there as well. So go give him a follow. Go give him a sub. Like I said, he's right there at being at 800 subscribers. So go show him some love over there. Sub him up. You will not regret it. You've seen just a taste of what he's got in this channel, and it's freaking fantastic. So go do yourself a favor. Go show him some love. Go sub him up. For me, as far as collecting Uncensored goes, I have got a cool guy coming over here in 2 weeks. Let me see if I can share this real quick. And his name is Ricky, and he's with All Sorts of Words.
And he's a funny bastard.
He's so damn funny. So I'm so excited.
I think you'll need a box of tissues, I think, for that one.
Yeah. I think we'll be I think we'll go long on that one as well, because I assume we're gonna have some squirrels and stuff like that come around. It's just gonna be a fun time. So yeah, y'all come out 2 weeks from now. I'll have Ricky All Sorts of Words on, and he said that he'll be here with balls on. So and I read that correctly, with balls.
That states it all.
Right. Oh, man, that's fantastic. Here's Chris, the comic vet. He's in the house. What's going on, homie? Appreciate you coming out.
Watch the rewind, Chris. It is a very long rewind. I like to waffle. I've kept this poor guy here for 2.5 hours because I wouldn't shut the fuck up.
I love... I've never heard the waffling until I read Simple Simon's comment on one of your videos of like, you spent so much time waffling, I guessed what statue it was or whatever.
That is,
and then you said it however much tonight. I'm like, I gotta pick up this word waffling. I've got to start using this.
I do. I go on tangents and all sorts of stuff. And it's like what Comic Journey always says. He goes, if I'm actually going to watch one of your videos, I watch it in 2 times speed. Yeah, Yeah,
Poor
hashtag
Jerry.
waffling. That's right. we miss you, CJ.
Spidey, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me, man. I'm glad we worked this out. I'm glad this panned out the way that it did. This is fantastic. Thank you for saying something. I loved having you on. I love your collection. I think it's freaking awesome, and I absolutely want to have you back on. So we'll have to work that out eventually in the future or whatever. Just check out more
Probably
of your
be next
stuff.
Christmas holidays.
Yes. We'll do Christmas
Make it
traditions.
an annual thing.
Cool. All right.
No, thank you for having me, brother. It's been an absolutely delight. So I've been wanting to get on. I like doing the interview shows. The interview shows are fun. So whenever I can get on one, which is not very often, I always try and seize an opportunity. But awesome.
Fantastic. Like
Thank
I
you,
said,
Chad, as well, for being so gracious and asking a lot of questions as well. You've been fantastic. So thank you very much.
oh hell yeah, the chat was popping off. Y'all were awesome tonight. Fantastic. Thank y'all so much. Like I said, if you don't know, Spidey's stuff is down in the comments below. YouTube and IG. Go check him out. Go show him some love. And thank y'all so much for hanging out this evening. Appreciate y'all. And we will see y'all next time. Y'all have a good one.